Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to day 46 in week 10 of commercial diving school. This week got a little mixed up as far as the schedule. So, like for instance, today we're supposed to do the midterm, but that got pushed to Thursday. So today we ended up diving, and everybody got a chance to dive today, which means I got a chance to dive. And we're actually doing 3 different kind of drills in the pool. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed, and leave any comments or questions for me down below. So, like I said, today we're in the swimming pool. We actually didn't know we were diving today, so when we showed up, they were like, "Hey, you guys are diving today," and we thought, "Hey, we're supposed to be in the classroom," and they're like, "Nope, go get all the gear and equipment and stuff and set it up at the pool." And so that's what we did. So we set up the whole entire dive station and got 2 divers ready. So we set up the pool for 2 divers, and we didn't have anybody to dress out first. And since I was dropping my bag off at the dive locker, I was like, "Hey, do we have any divers that are going first?" And they said, "No, go ahead and get changed out." So I was one of the first 2 divers to get to dive today. And basically what we were doing today was 3 different drills, but we got to do 2 rounds of them. So the first drill that we did was our normal bailout drill. So a bailout drill is basically kind of what it sounds. So your bailout is the tank on your back. It could be a normal 80. Some people in our class wear 63s, some people wear 53s. That just stands for the cubic inches of the volume of your tank on your back. So that is your bailout. So when they secure the main air, which comes from your umbilical, comes from surface, when they secure that, you're gonna start losing pressure in your hat, and basically what happens is your neck dam starts to kind of squeeze up because it creates a vacuum, because when you start to breathe in, you don't have any more air, and that vacuum kind of pulls up your neck dam. And so that's how you know you ran out of air, and at that point you would reach your left arm back, and then you would open your bailout, and then that would put air into your hat, and you'd be able to breathe normally. And then that's when, as soon as you do that, you have to relay to topside, "Hey, topside, diver on bailout." So that's the first drill. Very simple. We've actually done it many times, just for practice. So that one we already got down. The second one is something new we did today. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I've talked about the pneumo hose. It's one of the hoses that we have on our umbilical, along with the line, our comms, and our main air hose. We also have a pneumo hose. The pneumo hose is to measure depth, like what depth you're at. It can also be used for various other things, like if you have a lift bag, you can actually they can shoot air out of your pneumo, and by pneumo, that stands for pneumatic, which pneumatic means air. So kind of like it just means your air hose when I say pneumo. And you can stick that into a lift bag, and then they can blow air into a lift bag. It just has many different purposes. But you can also use it as emergency breathing. If you don't have any air to your hat anymore, you can actually stick it up between your neck and your neck dam, and stick it up into your hat. And now that air that was used as kind of like an auxiliary air for different purposes can now potentially save your life if that's all you have to breathe with. So you can stick that up in your hat. So that was the second drill. Just stick that up in your hat, breathe normally from that, and then they say, "Okay, you're good, main air is back on, you can secure that." So you take that pneumo back out of your hat. So the third drill is the most complicated and probably the hardest, because there is a second where you don't have air, because they turn your air off and you're switching over. And what I mean by that is normally they said when you're on a job, you could be diving from a diving bell. And what you would normally do is, if you're in an emergency air situation where you need air, you would either go into the bell and then you would, take your hat off and you'd have like a bubble that you can breathe from. But we're not doing, we're not gonna practice doing that in a bell at school. So we're in a swimming pool. So what they did as an alternative was they had another air hose that went into the pool, and it has a quick disconnect male end. So what we would do is, for the third drill, they would secure your main air, and then you would disconnect your bailout hose that would normally go to your tank, and you would put in the air that the hose that came from topside that I was just talking about, and you would attach that, and then you would breathe off of that emergency air. So that was the third drill, and that one's kind of a little different because you have to grab the hose, and then you have to make sure there's air coming from it, and then you plug it in. So that was the third drill. Now you do another round of all those drills, but this time you do it basically blindfolded. And since you can't actually put a blindfold on, what they did was they duct taped our viewport so that it's completely blacked out and you can't see anything. So kind of like if you're actually diving in, low visibility water, right? It kind of simulated that, because you're not going to be able to see in various dive situations when you're actually on a job, because the water is just so bad, or there's no light. So they simulated a blackout environment. So you did everything again, so that you came up to the surface, they duct taped our viewport completely, and then you went back down. And then they did the bailout drill again, they did the breathing off of the pneumo hose again, and then they did the bailout whip connected to the emergency air hose that ran into the pool. So that was pretty cool, pretty awesome experience we got today. We had no idea we were going to be in the pool. I didn't even know we were going to get to dive in the pool again, which is really awesome because the water is so clear, and everybody was excited because you just miss water being that clear. And so it was a lot of fun. Another cool thing about today was that we got to chill in our wet clothes or our wetsuits, because either it's going to rain in Florida or it's going to be super hot. So if it's super hot, we can just jump into the pool when we have our wetsuit on, and then if it rains, we're already in our wetsuit. We're not in our jeans and our t-shirt. So it was a pretty cool, chill day. The only thing they asked was that if you get into the pool, don't, horse around, don't jump into the pool, splash, don't be loud and be crazy and stuff like that, or you will ruin it for everybody who goes after you. And the pool will be secured after that. They'll still do diving stuff, but nobody will be allowed to cool off in the pool and take a dip. So I ended up wearing my neoprene. I dove first, so I got changed out in my dive gear, and then I wore my neoprene up until lunch after my dive, and then after lunch I just wore my swim shorts because it ended up raining super hard and everything would have gotten wet anyway. So if I changed out into my jeans, that would have got soaked. So I just stayed in my rain boots and my swim shorts. So I mean, any day where you're kind of wearing casual gear and not your regular uniform, it's a good day, especially when you're out by the swimming pool, especially when you're doing an easy lesson. Today was just the drills, which was very, very, very easy. We had plenty of people all in one place to do the various jobs, and it wasn't too crazy hard to do. So all in all, it was a very good day, very fun day. I would say one of the best days of commercial diving school was today. Those other 2 days that I've mentioned previous, those were still the best days. I just had fun those days, but today was really, really, really awesome. And if you get the chance to have a day like that when you go to school, or if you're gonna go to school, then definitely look forward to that, because today was awesome. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Stay tuned, because we're gonna be diving more, and then like I said, we're gonna have that midterm. So if you're interested in hearing about that, stay tuned. And then we got so much more coming up, so stay tuned for all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you enjoyed, and leave any comments or questions down below. And I hope you guys have a great one. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.